Hey guys, how's it going? Happy 2023 calendar year. I just thought I would pop on and pull a few cards. I know a lot of people do like year ahead readings, and I have done those for myself in the past, but right now I'm feeling like we should just focus on this first quarter because I'm really feeling like this year is going to change so fast, so fast that really we could do like it just so many things can happen, and so many decisions are being made on an individual level that for me personally a collective reading didn't feel like something that would resonate with very many people for very long, just because we all have so many different like shifts this year coming. So with that being said, if you wanted me to do a personal look at what energies are coming through for you for the year ahead, I did do one, but again today I'm just feeling like we should like look at like just like the overall energy for this first quarter, so the first 3 months of the year. And I already have a deck coming out. Wow, okay, so it's being graceful in movement and action. So this is, I'll put the decks I use below. This is Kyle Gray's Angels and Ancestors deck. So this is got a praying mantis, which to me praying mantises are like luck but fierceness, but it's like be graceful in movement and action. So how can you be graceful to yourself? How can you give yourself grace? How can you give the world grace? So this first few months, like to me, he's got a very defensive stance, but he almost looks like a kung fu, like some kind of martial arts. I think a Kung Fu Panda because my son loves Kung Fu Panda, but so I'm thinking of like martial arts. He's got like a mala around his wrist. But he's definitely ready for action. He's ready to take action. But if you've ever watched martial arts, it's very graceful in their movements. So I feel like that's telling us for this first quarter to just be very mindful and thoughtful. And with martial arts, most of it is really thinking in the moment and just being thoughtful and like, is it worth it? Like, is the arguments worth it? Is whatever you're going through, is it worth it to disturb your own peace? So maybe showing some more grace for people and being more graceful in your interactions with people, because it's not to say like let people disrespect you, but on the same, like, is it worth disturbing your peace because someone's having a bad day? I get it. I can in the past be known to be kind of not a hothead, but like someone who like is ready to like stand up for what's right. And I feel like right now we're just being asked to be graceful with our actions and our intentions, and just really being mindful of like, is it worth it? Like, is it worth that early 90s rap song in my head now, but so is it worth it, or should you just like let it flow? Like, is it like, I saw a post on Instagram, and I don't know if I can tag her in this, but her mom said the 5-second rule, and I have to share that now because I loved it. So the 5-second rule, not about food, but when you're dealing with people, remember the 5-second rule. So if you're gonna comment on their appearance or something about them, can they change it in 5 seconds? So like if they have something in their teeth, say something. If they have like their skirt stuck in their underwear or their shirt's got like something on it, say something. But if it's about like a zit or a scar or something that they can't change like in 5 seconds, maybe it's not worth disturbing your peace, and it's just a time where you can be graceful to like kind of just recognize it and move on and be less critical of our neighbors and our friends and family, and just, you know, look out for people if they got like a bat in the cave or whatever. But like if it's something they can't change, maybe we just kind of, okay, move on. Not worth the energy. I have a feeling most of the people here will resonate with that well. A lot of people that'll find me in my channel will resonate with that really well. So Another thing, so this is the Light Keepers, Keepers of the Light Oracle. Also Kyle Gray, I don't know, I'm on a Kyle Gray kick. Radha, Soul Flame, rediscover the lost part of yourself, experience relationship, harmony, and healing. So how can you, and so here's the thing, and something I like been meaning to do a video on. What about the relationship with yourself? How can you experience harmony in the relationship to yourself? How can you get more intimate with yourself and not in like an inappropriate way? I mean, if that just strikes your fancy, but like, how can you really get to know yourself well and figure out, like, for these first 3 months of the year, there's lots of healing and figuring out why you are the way you are. So instead of like, just like, well, that's just how I am, but why? Like, what happened to you? That's what some people say. What caused you to be the way that you are? Was it childhood trauma? Was it programming? Was it some bully said something to you in 3rd grade and we have to like kind of heal that wound? 90% of the stuff we have, I think, before like middle school's prime for like, personally from what I've witnessed, people commenting on our weight in middle school is where like a lot of eating disorders kind of take off. But like ages 7 and younger is really the critical time for like really setting the wires, those neural wires for kids and how their brains work and how they see how the world works. So how can you experience relationship to self harmony, like harmony to yourself relationship, by rediscovering lost parts of yourself? So if you could go back, imagine if you could go back and be that little kid that loves to splash in puddles before someone told you you couldn't splash in puddles, or someone that would just color whatever you wanted because you didn't have to worry about the judgment of being in the lines or what it looked like. Like, I just think of my son and like, he mixes the Play-Doh and it all turns into one color and he doesn't bat an eye, and I'm like, you're mixing the Play-Doh, now it's all going to be whatever color it's going to be. And actually it didn't turn out to be an awful color, it just isn't the colors that it was when I gave it to him. So how can you, oh, and ironically I brought over Archangel Zachiel spray, and it's about forgiveness and transmutation. So how can you forgive yourself for stepping on yourself for others, but not in like a rude way? Like, how can you forgive yourself for letting and rediscover that harmonic relationship with self? Let's focus on that for this first 3 months. I will write that down, and we will do, that's what we will focus on for this 3 months. Any videos I do in this 3 months, we will focus on coming back to self. Okay, well, this is perfect. So secret garden, sacred space, cultivate your space, inner beauty, and self-care. If that doesn't go with a relationship with self, how can you create a sacred space for yourself, or a sacred moment? Maybe you don't have room in your house to like have a Reiki room or, you know, a space, but do you have a chair that you can like pick a flower or get yourself a little like cheap $2 bunch of roses from Kroger or whatever grocery store you have near yourself? Do you have wildflowers that you can pick if it's that time of year? How can you create a little sacred space, even if it's just inside yourself, where you just take a few moments a day? And I do encourage you to, if you're going to meditate, do it in the same space every day, just so your body's like, okay, we're sitting in this chair, or even if it's in your bathroom, say, you know, okay, I'm going to light this candle, even if it's unscented, plain, you know, 50-cent candle. I'm going to light this candle and have these few moments to myself. Or you're going to color, or whatever your meditation is. If it's a walk, you know that your body, like your mind starts to recognize, okay, we did this yesterday and the day before or the time before, and this is setting yourself up. And you just walk into that sacred secret garden, and you just walk through that gate, and even if it's just by yourself in your car, and you just drive to a parking lot and you just say, okay, and you get an essential oil and you just rub it on your hands, or you get a spray and you just sit and make that little sacred space for yourself. And then, okay, so this is, I'm not good at pronouncing things, so bluestone, Perstelli bluestone. I probably butchered that. Sacred sites, dragon energy. Okay, so finding that dragon energy inside yourself, pilgrimage, sacred sites. How can you make that pilgrimage deep into yourself to find who you truly are? Before society told you you had to do X, you had to do Y, before society said, no, you can't do that. You can do that. And you can be a light worker, and you can work a 9 to 5 and still be a light worker. You don't have to go back to school and be a massage therapist. You don't have to go find someone to teach you Reiki. We're going to work on all that. My hope for this year is to help everyone learn about how they can work on their chakras without paying a lot of money for some fancy class. Do fancy classes. If that lights you up, fantastic. I love the fancy classes. I have many fancy classes and many certificates from fancy classes. But I want to know how I can help you learn on a daily basis to work with your chakras. And it can be something as simple as, like, if your throat chakra's out of balance, you eat some blueberries. If you're feeling ungrounded, eat some root vegetables. So really it can be as easy as like throwing on a red shirt to feel grounded in your root chakra. It can be putting on a yellow shirt to feel more in your power, or it can be a yellow button or yellow earrings, or lots of ways that we can work with our chakras without going and getting some expensive fancy class. Now, I don't know if I'll make that some like just YouTube channel, or if I'll like make it more off to like separate from this, but I want to do some kind of basic level stuff here so that I can help people understand their chakras better, and just really learning how you can just work with them on your own. So I had this deck out. Let's see, what other messages do we have for the first quarter of 2023 in regards to self-love. And then I had bought these oils, and it jumped out to me while I was doing a reading for someone earlier. So I put this here and hadn't put it away yet. But just remembering, I am enough. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am enough. I am enough. Because you're enough. You can be your own healer. I'm not saying if you love to go healing, obviously find yourself a great massage therapist, find yourself a great energy worker. All that is great. But I'm saying you have everything you need inside of you to heal yourself. I merely hold space for you. And my hope and goal for this year is to help you find that power. And get one more card, and then we'll talk about these cards because they're interesting. So my hope is to help you empower yourself so that on the day-to-day thing, you're feeling empowered and feeling like if you get caught up in a moment, that you're going to have the tools you need to kind of come back to space. And remembering you don't need all the fancy tools, you have all of that inside of you. So the first card that came out is the Death card. Now, everyone gets all freaked out about the Death card because actual death. I literally, like, it's not, the way cards work, especially for me, is the cards usually are never literal in the aspect of, like, that's not a literal death, but like transformation and new beginning. So how perfect that we pull this beautiful Death card. This is actually a very beautiful Death card. So this is a sugar skull. And from what I know about sugar skulls is it's about celebrating loved ones who have passed on the Day of the Dead. And if I got that wrong, please comment below. I don't know much about it, but from what I'm understood is the Day of the Dead is a very beautiful celebration. And that's what, when I think of sugar skulls, that's what I think of. So, you know, the Death card is just about transformation and new beginnings. So here's the perfect time when everybody's hyped up about this new energy coming in for the calendar year. Now this calendar year that we're on, the new year, it's only about 400 years old. So it actually used to start in March on the spring solstice, which to me that's perfect. The year starts in spring. How beautiful. Like you have this time of like rest and like hibernation, and then the new year starts on the first day of spring when things are starting to wake up again. So I love that. Now, of course, we live in modern times where this is the new year, this is the new calendar year. But a lot of companies have new, like end of year is like July. So like their sales years does not run the calendar year. But so right now, we can obviously use this as a time for change for these next 3 months leading up into the astrological new year, up until springtime. We can be planning our new beginnings. We can be starting anew. We can be just really shifting into this new time. And then we get the Wheel of Fortune card, which this Wheel of Fortune card has a snake, which to me is snakes are about shedding the skin, starting anew again. But this one is Wheel of Fortune. So Wheel of Fortune is like karma, destiny. Like you found this video for a reason. Don't think it was a mistake. Don't think it just popped up, because whatever. If you're watching this video, you're meant to watch it, and it is timeless. So if you're watching this video, it doesn't matter if it's not January of 2023. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. This message is timeless. So karma, destiny, you're right where you need to be at the right time. You're supposed to be there. There is no mistakes. I had a friend say, well, you're so far ahead of me. And I'm like, I'm not farther ahead of you. I just been training longer. So the way I look at it is like, you don't just go out and run a marathon without any training, without any practice. So I wouldn't just pick up and decide I'm going to go run 13 miles if I haven't been training to run 13 miles. I mean, I could. I'd probably my legs would be dead, my toenails would fall off because I don't have the proper training and I haven't trained my body. But that doesn't mean one's better than the other. Like just because someone can run longer, faster does not make them a better runner than the person who can't go out and run as far as them if they've been training longer. Like to me, it's not there's competitions and races and stuff, but so I just have a little bit more knowledge because I've been studying longer. It's not a contest. We're all on our path at the time we're meant to be on our path. So you're on your destiny now. And then the final card is the Ace of Pentacles, which is, again, beginnings and prosperity. So another beginnings card. Obviously, it's the beginning of the calendar year, so it's a great time to kind of wipe the slate clean. A lot of people, we took down all our Christmas decorations, wiped everything down, just to start the new calendar year out fresh. So new beginnings, and to me, she's kind of dancing. Just trying to look at the card a little bit more. There's some flowers in the background. She's just kind of getting some movement. So what is a new habit you can create for yourself in this first quarter of the year? Again, this focusing on the first quarter of the year. Let's see here. I feel like I want to draw. Let's do this card, this deck, this Princess. Priestess of Light Oracle card by Sandra and Taylor. So what is one final card? I don't want to make these videos too long. One final card for this first quarter of the year for everyone watching. Again, this is a timeless reading, so it doesn't matter when you find it, but this next quarter of the year, this next 3 months. Ooh, hidden knowledge. Akashic records, silent understanding. So the Akashic records is believed to be the record of all our lives, of every thought, everything, and don't get too hung up on that. It's not like you think about, it's not a judgment, like a religious judgment thing. It's just a record. It's like a court record. So it's just a record of everything that you've ever done in any life. And some argue anything you're going to do, but within reason, because that's, you know, you have free will. So she's got like a bobcat on her head. I don't know if this will show up well on the camera, so I hope it does. Silent understanding, hidden knowledge, and the moon's behind her. So the moon is about knowing, seeing the, like not always seeing the bigger, the needing to see everything. But this is like, when I hear this, hidden knowledge, knowing that the knowledge you seek is hidden deep inside your heart and your soul. So then the answers you're seeking right now are deep inside yourself. So I've heard a couple different people say this, and the one I know for sure said this would be Lee Harris, and he says that his guides tell him to tell people, like, so get a journal and ask yourself what your soul wants you to know. Do it as many times a week as you can. Aim for 3 things. It might be 3 things, it might be less, but like just sit down and start with 5 minutes and just get a blank piece of paper or your phone if you wish. But there's something for me that's just very therapeutic about writing things out, and just say, what does my soul need me to know today? What does my higher self want me to know? What do I need to focus on? And you might be surprised. And it might be something as simple as like, you're great or you're wonderful. And it might seem weird at first, but just go with it and see where you are in a week, see where you are in a month, and go from there. But so I will leave you with that. Hidden knowledge, the knowledge that you seek is deep within inside your soul, deep within inside your higher self knows the knowledge you seek. So just ask. And when you're doing that, write it down, the date, and be like, what does my higher self want me to know? Or what does my soul want me to know? And then don't think, and just set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes and just write. Write. Some people will say write a minimum of X amount of pages. I say just write, set a timer and write until the timer stops. Don't worry about punctuation, don't worry about spelling, just write, because the only person that's looking at this is you. And then you can go back in a few months or weeks and see where things land. But so that is a challenge I'm going to leave you with. I'm going to challenge myself to do, I'm going to aim for a video a week of something, whether it's a meditation or just getting on here and pulling cards for you guys, or if something strikes me. I did get there's a couple things that I was told to do by my guide, so we will get to that, and more information will be coming. But my hope is to get you guys some just basic spiritual knowledge. From my experience, I'm not the end all be all, and if anything I ever say doesn't resonate with you, that is fine. If you ever feel like you need to unfollow me because I'm not bringing you joy, that is fine. But anyway, I will leave you with that, and I will hopefully see you in a week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.